to the sunny slopes of long ago. Ah, that doesn't heat you up and cool you down all the same time. This morning on Saturday Gun Chat, we're going to do a VR to Coda Boy 32. Yeah, my good friend Coda Boy 32, he's having this contest. And he wants you to do a VR talking about the gun you regret buying. Yeah, the gun you most regret buying. And this is an interesting topic because as soon as Jack saw that, Jack said, well, I can tell you which gun I regret buying. And we all know Jack and that bodyguard, that 380 bodyguard, he just got conned into buying because he got all excited about getting a $50 rebate, which, by the way, the $50 rebate finally showed up, but it was late, and he actually got a letter from the president apologizing, of Smith & Wesson apologizing that it was going to be late, and it said in there, we're not getting our rebates out as fast as we should, and we feel that it's not living up to the Smith & Wesson standard. And boy, did Jack get mad by that. Oh, he said, what standards? If you would have seen that gun the way it came out of the box, that Smith & Wesson bodyguard, you wouldn't think they had any standards at all. And he has a point there, because that chassis was all, yeah, it was a wavy chassis, and whoever put that in there, having worked in my youth at a factory, and let me tell you, when the stuff comes down the line or you're pulling it out of a bin, that's all you see all day long is that part. That as soon as you see it, you know it's bad. You know it's bad and should be discarded. But on top of that, the sights on that were way off to one side, hanging over the edge of the slide, and oh, it was just pathetic. That is the biggest piece of garbage I've ever seen in my life, out of all the guns I've ever seen. And this is my regret on guns, is I regret buying all those guns. Yeah, back in my younger days, I decided, given my profession, it would behoove me to become a student of weapon craft. Yeah, well, whatever. And I decided I would buy every new gun that came out. And I've pretty much owned every handgun since then that's come out, because I wanted to be a student of weapon craft until the point where I retired and I decided I didn't care anymore. I wanted to do that so if a gun was ever dropped by somebody and I had to pick it up and use it, I'd know how to use it. And of course, over all those years, that never happened. No. All I pretty much did is take a small fortune and flush it down the toilet on buying a gun, playing with it to see how it works and learning how to shoot it and everything, then taking it back to the gun shop and trading it on another gun. And I did that all the time. That was my hobby back when I was working. Yeah, I'm very knowledgeable about every gun ever made, and that knowledge is like absolutely useless. Just a total waste of money. Not to mention the money I wasted on training on the guns I had, because quite frankly, early on I was given a Glock 23 I had to use, and you know what? I should have just stuck with that. If I would have just kept the Glock, I could have just done refresher training, and I would just be a fraction of all the training I've done. Every time I got a different gun, I went and trained on it to an expensive private training course on all those years. And I added up all the courses and put them at current prices and figured out what it would cost to do it. And when I saw it cost more than this place, I said, what a jackass. All I had to do was stick with that Glock 23 till the day I retired, and I could have saved all that money. Not to mention all the money on those other guns that went through my hands. What a stupid jackass. So I guess my biggest regret is having bought them at all. I could have just stuck with that Glock. I could have used a Glock as my primary gun, a Glock as my backup. When they wore out, I could just get a new one. And if it was that one, the first one I think was a Gen 2 or Gen 3. Actually, the first one wasn't a 23. It was a 19, I think, or 17. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. If I would have just stuck with a Glock all the way through and never touched any other gun, even when the generation gun got discontinued, well, the 3's still being made. And they're bringing out the fifth generation, and if you've seen the pictures of it, you can go check out the Glock Cowboy. I think he's got a video on that. You've seen the pictures on it. They're just like the first. Pretty much. You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't have to do anything but just some continuing training to keep up to snuff. I wouldn't have to go to a course just to to train on the gun because it's something new and different. Yeah, and I'd probably be much better with a gun at this point than I am. I think, maybe. Yeah, total waste of time. That's my big regret, having bought anything but a Glock. And you're saying, well, they're not the best guns in the world. Well, you know. Yeah, are they ugly? Yeah, they're ugly. Yeah, they are. Are they finely made? No, they're just Tupperware guns. Yeah. But they got good sights? No. You got to buy good sights and put them on them. Yeah. Are they accurate? Well, yeah, they're accurate. Are they the most accurate gun out there? No, not at all. No. Not finely made? No. Matter of fact, the tolerances, you can pretty much take 20 Glocks, put them in a pile, and just slam them all together, the parts from each one, and they're all the same. And if you put them back together with the correct parts that came on the original one, they'd all be the same. Yeah, real tolerance is really loose, but you know what? Every time you pull them out of the holster, they go bang. And they're accurate enough to do the job. And they're really good tools for the money. And you can get parts anywhere, and you can get mags anywhere. And even if they discontinue, you can still use the same gun, because the next gen is just the same thing anyways. So there you go. I just thought I'd throw that out to you, Coda Boy. But I think Jack's the winner on this, because yeah, Jack's Smith & Wesson Bodyguard was the biggest piece of garbage I've ever seen in my life. And I can't even think of any cars in my life, even used ones I bought, that were as big a piece of garbage as that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I remember having to drive a Crown Vic squad car one time. This is back in the 80s. I guess it was an 80. I'm going to say it was like an 83, but I don't know. What a piece of crap that thing was with that Ventura carburetor. Yeah, it was in the shop all the time. What a turd that car was. And that was still better than that Smith & Wesson Bodyguard of Jack. So he wins out on that one. There you go, guys. There's my VR this morning to Coda Boy 32 and his contest. Before I leave you, I'm going to ask you a little favor, just one little favor. And that is, Jack and I do these shows, and the revenue, it's pretty much non-existent. What little bit we get off of people watching the commercials, Jack pretty much blows it down at the VFW every Friday night. So we're making nothing here. So if you're a subscriber of mine, you can give me a little payback right now by just doing this. Down in the comments section down below, just type in, "Hey, Coda Boy, go get a Glock." Thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next time, hey, Coda Boy, go get a Glock.